is a quiet pool. The sun streams over the landscape. I give him one like a woolly blanket. The stillness of the water reflects a green oasis, and I paddle my toes into its icy coldness and wonder what the sheep that have gone before me. Together they go to the end where things began, where no time can pull them apart, not even its most remote sense of environment. For nature is a bosom that gives up for the rock to submit themselves to, without any regrets to stand in her way. This peace, where neither plane nor automobile can come. The green land is like the nape of a prostrate giant in veneration of the planet. Yeah, here and there, oh, they dance a million steps. First the moss, then the trees, and finally the rising of the Argo Sea. Together they go to the end where things began, for no time could pull them apart, not even in its most remote sense of environment. But nature is the bosom that gives up for the rocks to submit themselves to, without any regrets to stand in her way. Rock turns to dust in its epic journey, awaiting the streams of life to come pouring forth. And she comes in burden new, rock turns to dust in its epic journey, awaiting the streams of life to come pouring forth. And she comes in burden new, rock turns to dust in its epic journey, awaiting the streams of life to come pouring forth, to transform the red landscape into a luscious parasol. Rock turns to dust in its epic journey, awaiting the streams of light to come pouring forth. And she comes, watching her moistened body over So a stong is another way of saying a story song, right? So there's a new word I've invented, a story song, a stong. So this stong was written when I was in Wales, so that was another girlfriend, very brief, and she took me to her home, and I think she was looking for a potential partner in the future, and I was doing all my permaculture stuff up there in a place called Coed Hills. And she lived up in the mountains as well, and we went for a big climb up the mountains. And this girl, if you've been listening to my other stories, this girl followed me up her mountain. She was a bit reluctant at first, and then she followed me, and then we made love when we got back to her home, and then she just lost interest in me. It's a funny one. I did see her again after 2012. After 2013, I came back from Palestine at Macedonia, and I saw her outside the Welsh National Library. She was there with 2 other friends, and I said, "Yeah, I've just got back from Palestine. I've been cycling 6 months on the road," and she was disappointed. And it was nothing to do with the relationship we had. Well, it was, but it wasn't to do with our time together. It was to do with the fact that maybe she'd missed out. So I wrote about my walk up the mountain, and I saw a pond and a quiet pool reflecting the sky. It was crystal clear, and I said, look, I'm going to go for a dip, because that's what I always do. And I could see all the sheep droppings around it and stuff like that, so I went for a dip, and that was cold. That Welsh water, God, that was really cold. I'm surprised I I consummated that relationship very briefly that same night. But that was incredibly cold. It's freezing, and it's the only difference being is that there's normally ice in a situation like that. So I, instead of writing a song about her, the failed relationship inspired me to write the song about nature. Here and there they dance a million steps, first the moss, then the trees, and finally the rising of the algal sea. So there's a sort of like an environmental theme in that over millions of years. And it's all about how nature gives life and gives sight for the rocks to become living in the landscape. They, over the course of millennia, they bend to her will, and then rock turns to dust in its epic journey, awaiting the streams of life to come pouring forth. So this is like the beginning of life. So we've actually gone back in time here, and she comes in verdant hues. So she's slowly growing to transform the red landscape, which was a sort of distant reference to the Catalonian red soil that we have here, into a luscious parasol, a parasol. A bit like Geb and Nut. Geb is the earth, and then you've got Nut, which is the sky. So it's like a parasol, creating life in between, arching her moistened body over mine. Interesting. I could always take the roles of these mythological gods, goddesses, personifications. I become them.